Harry and Meghan cancelled again?
Oh dear, there's trouble in paradise.
Serena Williams just officially dumped Meghan Markle for Emma Thin, the Marchioness of Bath, and the whole thing is mortifyingly awkward.
So it's a big humiliation, and it's a financial headache, because that's how Megs was hoping to make her money, selling clobber to the great unwashed.
Did Meghan Markle's Met Gala invite disappear again? That's the question people kept throwing around online after this year's event, and honestly, the conversation felt way louder than simple celebrity gossip. Because while fashion icons, movie stars, billionaires, and internet favorites climbed the famous steps of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, one very recognizable name was missing once again: Meghan Markle.
You've got Prince Harry and Meghan Markle having to try and justify to their propagandists in the mainstream media, and there's not many left now, but Town and Country magazine and Harper's Bazaar, why they skipped the 2026 Met Gala. And effectively, it was simply that they were not invited.
And this time, people really noticed. The Met Gala isn't just another celebrity party, it's basically Hollywood's biggest social scoreboard. Getting invited means you're still part of the elite entertainment conversation. It's where influence, fashion, fame, and connections all collide in front of cameras flashing nonstop. And at the center of all of it is Anna Wintour, the woman known for controlling one of the most exclusive guest lists on the planet. That's why absences get people talking almost as much as appearances do. When someone famous skips the Met Gala once, nobody cares. Twice?
But for Serena Williams, for Meghan to lose her support is highly significant, because for a long time, Serena Williams remained steadfastly loyal as one of Meghan's only genuine A-list friends.
Maybe people start asking questions, but year after year, that's when the internet starts building theories, especially with someone like Meghan, whose name still pulls huge attention worldwide. Because whether people support her or criticize her, she remains one of the most discussed public figures connected to both celebrity culture and the royal world. So naturally, when she's not at one of the biggest events in entertainment, the speculation starts immediately. And social media wasted no time.
Emma Thin says, oh, we need Venus here next year. Not Meghan. Venus.
Best day ever, right? You can spend another 10 hours there.
Got to get ready here.
Venus next year, you're coming with us.
What made things even more interesting this year was who actually did attend. Serena Williams, often seen as one of Meghan's longtime celebrity friends, showed up looking completely at home in the spotlight, surrounded by cameras and major fashion coverage. And people instantly started connecting dots online. Standing alongside other high-profile figures from elite social circles, Serena looked fully plugged into the exact kind of glamorous world Meghan herself once seemed perfectly positioned to dominate.
So Anna Wintour loves King Charles, Queen Camilla. Why would she want the knockoff Duchess, who has basically shanked her family and trashed them on reality shows, interviews with Oprah? They've done books about them. Why would she want Meghan Markle then coming to the Met Gala, right? If she loves the royals. And we know this because a few days ago, after they left Washington, D.C., King Charles and Queen Camilla, they went to New York, and they did some events with Anna Wintour.
The photos alone sparked endless reactions across celebrity blogs and comment sections. Because in these circles, visuals matter a lot. Who you arrive with, who you're photographed beside, who designers want dressing you, who invites you into the room. All of it quietly shapes public perception without anyone needing to say a word. And this year, Meghan simply wasn't part of that picture. Instead, while celebrities were making headlines in New York, Meghan was reportedly attending a quiet private event in Chicago connected to close family friends.
A video that Serena Williams made of Meghan's products, which was so clearly designed to tell the world, don't buy this.
Compared to the chaos and extravagance of the Met Gala, the setting sounded calm, low-key, and surprisingly normal. And honestly, that contrast got people talking too. Because while the Met Gala was overflowing with dramatic outfits, luxury fashion, and over-the-top media attention, photos tied to Meghan's appearance painted a completely different image. Relaxed atmosphere, minimal fuss, no giant spotlight chasing her around. Some people viewed it as refreshing. Others thought the timing felt way too perfectly aligned to be accidental. And that's where the internet started spiraling into deeper conversations. In today's celebrity world, public image is everything. Every appearance, every outfit, every location, every photo release can shape a narrative online within minutes. So when two completely opposite images appear at the exact same time, people naturally start comparing them. On one side, massive celebrity spectacle. On the other, quiet simplicity and relatability. And whether intentional or not, that contrast created buzz all by itself.
She always looks unkempt in some way. It's like I saw a close up, and this is not to be petty, but this is the result of forcing yourself in our faces.
But even with that softer image floating around online, one question still refused to disappear. Why has Meghan never attended the Met Gala at all? That's the really surprising part. For someone who has existed at the crossroads of Hollywood fame, global media attention, streaming deals, celebrity friendships, and royal headlines, it feels unusual that she's never walked those famous Met steps even once, especially because many celebrities with far less influence or public recognition have received invitations over the years. And that's why this conversation keeps resurfacing every single May. At some point, people stop treating the absence like coincidence and start seeing it as part of a bigger celebrity mystery. Because in Hollywood, silence can sometimes attract more attention than showing up in the first place.
But imagine Meghan Markle at the Met Gala. That would be her Super Bowl. It's everything she wants. It's flashing cameras, lights, press, paparazzi, attention, wealthy people. You know, she loves to mingle. She loves to schmooze. But Meghan Markle, she is not a fashion icon. Meghan Markle, half the clothes she wears, they don't fit. They're wrinkled. She got all that money from Netflix. She can't afford a steamer. She'd probably show up in those big baggy pants. Meghan Markle loves those big baggy pants where if she kicks her leg, she's gonna fly off. She can lift off the ground.
Royals have attended. Movie stars, influencers, designers, even rising social media names with barely a fraction of Meghan Markle's global recognition. The doors have opened for plenty of people, just never for her. Some fans argue that the Met Gala simply isn't Meghan's scene anymore, that her focus has shifted toward different projects and a different kind of public image, one less connected to traditional celebrity circles and fashion world approval. And honestly, that could absolutely be true. But others believe there's a deeper story behind the absence. Because beyond the missing invitations, there's been quiet chatter for years. Nothing officially confirmed, but enough whispers to keep people talking online. Talk about strained relationships inside elite fashion circles, about connections that looked strong publicly but slowly faded behind the scenes, about partnerships that created headlines at first but never fully evolved into lasting alliances.
All Meghan Markle craved was an invite from Serena to the Met Gala. Instead, these were the types of videos that we saw on social media from before the event. Serena and Emma Thin getting ready, dancing. It was almost like the type of video that you post, if you're trying to annoy an ex.
And in industries built on networking, that matters a lot. Certain names always seem to pop up during these conversations. Edward Enninful is one of them, especially because of his past connection with Meghan during her British Vogue collaboration years ago. At the time, the partnership looked powerful. Fashion, influence, celebrity, media attention, it seemed like the perfect match for both sides. But over time, the excitement surrounding that connection appeared to cool down noticeably. And people noticed the silence. Then there's the larger fashion world itself, the inner circle around the Met Gala, the people who don't just attend the event but practically define the culture around it. At the center of that world sits Anna Wintour.
She is the first Black woman to be married into an aristocracy family. And I think Meghan Markle tries to claim that, but it was actually Emma.
Her guest lists are famous because they aren't random. Every invitation sends a message about influence, status, relevance, and connections within entertainment and fashion culture. And whether fair or unfair, Meghan's complicated public relationship with the royal institution created a very different image around her over the years. That contrast hasn't gone unnoticed, especially in circles where reputation, loyalty, branding, and perception quietly shape everything behind closed doors. Sometimes tensions don't need public drama to affect opportunities. Even subtle shifts in relationships can change how people move inside elite spaces. Still, calling this a flat-out rejection would probably oversimplify things, because Meghan's public identity has changed massively over the last several years. She's gone from actress to royal figure, to independent media personality building projects outside traditional Hollywood systems. That's a huge transformation for anyone, and transitions like that almost always come with complications, especially in industries where relationships often function like currency.
There was no excuse. They just didn't receive the ask. Anna Wintour didn't want them there. Serena Williams didn't want them there. Lauren Sanchez didn't want them there. They hate them.
The Met Gala isn't really just about fame alone. It's about being connected to a larger ecosystem of designers, editors, luxury brands, celebrity stylists, media executives, and cultural power players. That's what makes the event feel so exclusive. Being invited means more than showing up in an expensive outfit for photos. It means you're still considered part of the current cultural conversation at the highest level. So when someone with Meghan's level of global fame isn't there year after year, people naturally start asking questions. Not necessarily because it's scandalous, but because it feels unusual, and maybe that's why this discussion keeps growing bigger every year. Maybe it's not really about one party at all.
They did events with Anna Wintour, they did events with Sarah Jessica Parker, and I imagine Meghan Markle was watching this fuming, okay? I think Meghan Markle might have even posted another video of her kids as this was going on, because like clockwork, anytime the royals are getting good press and something's going well for them, Meghan Markle pulls up a video of the kids from the archive.
Maybe it's about where Meghan currently fits within celebrity culture as it exists today. Is she intentionally building a separate lane outside traditional Hollywood approval systems? Or are some of those elite spaces simply harder to access now than they once appeared to be? Honestly, nobody outside those circles fully knows. But one thing is clear, the Met Gala still works as a giant snapshot of influence, status, and cultural relevance. It shows who's dominating attention in that moment and who's shaping the conversation. And even though Meghan Markle wasn't physically inside the room this year, people were still talking about her anyway. If Meghan Markle's absence from the Met Gala was just a one-time thing, people probably would have stopped talking about it long ago. But that's not what's happening. Year after year, as guest lists change and new stars step into the spotlight, one thing stays the same. Meghan Markle has never walked those famous steps. And that's why people keep noticing it more and more. Because the Met Gala has never been completely closed off to royalty or high-profile public figures. In fact, history shows the opposite. Over the years, it has welcomed people who sit right between tradition, influence, and global fame.
Everton had been also invited to the King Charles event in New York last week that Meghan wasn't at. And then look at who she showed up with at the Met Gala. That is Edward Enninful, another former Meghan Markle BFF turned sworn enemy.
Princess Diana famously attended in 1996, making a moment that still gets referenced in fashion conversations today. Queen Rania has also been part of that world, representing a modern royal presence on an international stage. Even younger aristocratic names like Charlotte Casiraghi have appeared within that same exclusive circle. So the idea that royalty doesn't belong at the Met Gala doesn't really hold up, which is exactly why Meghan's continued absence stands out more than people expect. On paper, she fits the profile perfectly. A former actress, a duchess, a globally recognized public figure with ties to both Hollywood and the royal world. If anything, she feels like the exact kind of crossover personality the Met Gala usually celebrates, where fashion, fame, and cultural influence all collide in one night. And yet, she's never been there. No confirmed invitation, no official rejection, no clear explanation, just silence, and the internet filling in the blanks.
So there's absolutely no doubt that this was shade. Massive shade being thrown at Meghan Markle.
Some of the discussion points back to relationships within the fashion industry itself. Not random rumors, but long-running conversations about connections that may have shifted over time. One name that often comes up is Edward Enninful, especially because of Meghan's British Vogue guest editor project years ago. At the time, the collaboration looked strong and highly visible. It brought major attention and felt like a powerful cultural moment for both sides. But in the years since, that partnership hasn't developed into anything ongoing in the public eye. No major follow-ups, no repeated collaborations, no clear continuation of that professional link. And in industries where relationships often matter just as much as reputation, that kind of silence gets noticed. Then there's the bigger idea of who is connected to whom inside elite spaces like the Met Gala. Because it's not just about fame, it's about networks, relationships, and positioning. Take Serena Williams, for example. She has long been seen as part of Meghan's close circle, a high-profile friend with consistent public support over the years. But at major fashion events, her presence also reflects her own connections within elite circles that extend beyond any single relationship. At the Met Gala, she is often seen alongside other influential figures, including Emma Thin, the Marchioness of Bath, and those combinations are never seen as random.
Things are looking pretty bad for Meghan Markle, not to mention the fact that Lauren Sanchez also didn't want her at the event. She is, of course, the wife of Jeff Bezos, and that is because Meghan once dismissed her, described her as trash.
In spaces like this, appearances are carefully curated. Who stands next to whom, who enters together, who gets photographed in the same frame, it all creates subtle signals about current influence and alignment within those worlds. Emma Thin herself adds another interesting layer to that picture. Like Meghan, she represents a blend of modern identity and traditional aristocratic structure. She moves comfortably within elite fashion and cultural spaces, attends major events, and maintains visible connections across British and international society. But unlike Meghan, her presence in those environments appears steady and uninterrupted, and that difference is exactly what people pick up on.
Meghan thought Lauren was loud, thirsty, and painfully performative. Could she be describing herself?
So she can scam her way to the top, but she can't scam her way into the Met Gala.
Then there's the wider circle around the Met Gala, especially figures like Anna Wintour, whose influence over the entire event is basically unmatched. The guest list isn't random at all. It's not just about fame or online popularity, it's about alignment with a very specific vision of culture, fashion, and long-term influence. And Wintour's connections across elite industries are well known. She has long-standing ties to major British institutions and figures connected to royal and cultural circles.
This Met Gala thing is uber embarrassing for Meghan Markle, isn't it? She can't even get an invite to this event, even with Serena Williams, such a big part of it. And it seems to me, Jobbo, that Serena is making quite a point with this friendship with Emma Thin, who is now another big rival of Ms. Markle.
That doesn't automatically exclude Meghan, but it does add another layer to how invitations and visibility are understood inside those environments. Because in spaces where reputation, discretion, and long-term relationships matter, public narratives carry real weight. And Meghan's public story over the past few years has been anything but low profile. Interviews, documentaries, media appearances, brand launches, each one shaping how she's viewed across entertainment and fashion industries. In entertainment circles, that level of visibility can be a major advantage. But in more traditional or institution-heavy spaces, it can become more complicated. And that tension sits right at the center of this entire discussion, because the Met Gala lives between two worlds. It's modern and theatrical, but also deeply tied to legacy institutions and long-standing cultural power structures.
If she's not at the Met Gala, I'm telling you guys, she's going to be at home like the rest of us, watching and judging and fuming and seething.
Hosted at the Metropolitan Museum of Art and backed by some of fashion's most established names, the event balances spectacle with tradition in a very specific way. And not everyone navigates that balance the same way. Meanwhile, Meghan's own public positioning seems to be moving in a slightly different direction. Her more recent appearances, including the Chicago visit, leaned heavily into relatability and everyday normalcy, standing far away from the high glamour exclusivity often associated with Met Gala culture. Being seen in simple, grounded settings creates a very different public image compared to the red carpet world of high fashion and celebrity spectacle. And that contrast stands out, because in today's media environment, stepping away from elite spaces can actually build a different kind of influence.
Someone who has allegedly been snubbed from the Met Gala, according to almost every single news site online, is none other than Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Scamelot.
One based on accessibility instead of exclusivity, it resonates with audiences who prefer authenticity over glamour-driven appearances, but that approach also comes with trade-offs, because the Met Gala is built entirely on exclusivity. And being part of it means being connected to that inner circle of fashion, celebrity, and cultural power. So the question naturally follows, is Meghan actively choosing to step outside those spaces, or is she simply finding herself positioned differently within them over time?
Well, I've got to say, well, I never like being away from the camera, and obviously we're off doing work. But I was very pleased that I completely missed the whirlwind of Harry and Meghan coming in and out of Australia in the past few weeks. So thank you for bringing me up to date on matters that they're still the losers that I imagined they were when they were here.
There's no clear answer, only interpretation. What's clear is that the Met Gala continues to function as a cultural checkpoint every year. It shows who is in the spotlight, who is influencing conversations, and how the hierarchy of fame and power is currently shaped. And once again, in 2026, Meghan Markle was not physically there on the steps of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, but she was still part of the conversation anyway.
Meghan posing in a dress. I mean, this woman just doesn't have a clue. Every photograph she posts, it looks like something from a 1970s.
Because absence at an event like this doesn't automatically erase relevance. Sometimes it does the opposite. It turns into a question people keep asking long after the cameras stop flashing. By the end of the night, the narrative wasn't just about fashion, outfits, or who impressed on the carpet. It was about who held cultural weight in that moment. Because the Met Gala has grown into more than a fashion event. It's a live snapshot of influence, status, and visibility in modern culture. Because while the world watched celebrities climb those famous steps, smiling, posing, and performing status in real time, Meghan Markle remained just outside the frame. Not ignored, but positioned differently. And in a space where positioning means everything, that difference stands out immediately. The question isn't just why she wasn't there anymore. The real question is what it actually means that she wasn't. Because absence at an event like this doesn't happen randomly, especially for someone who has spent years building a public identity around visibility, influence, and cultural relevance. Meghan is not a background figure. She doesn't simply disappear from major cultural moments, and yet over time, a pattern has formed. While others move deeper into elite entertainment circles, align with major fashion networks, and secure their place in high-profile cultural spaces, her trajectory looks less direct. Not necessarily declining, but no longer moving in the same lane as the circles she once seemed fully connected to. Look at the Met Gala ecosystem itself. It isn't random at all. It's a tightly connected network of designers, editors, media executives, stylists, and cultural power players, all orbiting around one central influence, Anna Wintour. Her role goes far beyond fashion.
Well, it's not going that well because she cannot get a ticket to the Met Ball, which of course the Met Gala, this is the big fashion event of the year in New York.
It's about curation, about deciding, often quietly, who belongs in the current cultural moment and who doesn't quite fit the direction it's heading in. And fitting into that world requires more than fame alone. It requires alignment, consistency, trust, and a sense of reliability. Because for all its glamour, the Met Gala is still a controlled environment. Every invitation, every seating choice, every appearance is deliberate. It's not just about attention, it's about the right kind of attention inside a very specific system that rewards those who understand its unspoken rules. And Meghan has never fully operated inside that system.
The Met Gala invites have gone out, none sent to Meghan and Prince Harry. Now, she was banking. Now, Paula, look, she does say there's always the chance of a last-minute invite, that type of thing, but it's not looking good. And it is surprising, given you've got the Bezos, the Beyonce, the Williams, but it does feel like Anna Wintour has put her foot down.
Her path has been unpredictable from the beginning. Hollywood actress, global celebrity, royal figure, public exit, media projects, interviews, brand development. Each stage shifting her public identity in noticeable ways. And while that unpredictability has kept her constantly in the spotlight, it also makes her harder to categorize within traditional elite structures. Because attention and trust are not the same thing. Now compare that to the 2026 Met Gala. Familiar names filled the carpet, alongside carefully selected rising figures and established cultural icons. People who didn't just bring fame, but also fit smoothly into the current direction of fashion and entertainment culture. They didn't just show up, they belonged there. And that sense of belonging is what makes Meghan's absence feel more noticeable to some observers, because by any major measure, she is still globally recognizable. She has the platform, the audience, and the story that keeps people talking. But influence isn't only about recognition, it's about integration. Being part of the same system that continuously reinforces your place inside it. And right now, that level of integration feels less visible. Even within broader social and professional circles, the connections that once appeared strong don't always show up in the same visible way anymore. Public appearances still happen, but not always in the same environments, with the same names, or within the same cultural moments that define elite relevance. And in a world where visibility is basically currency, those small shifts matter a lot. Because it's not just about being seen, it's about where you're seen and who you're seen with. The Met Gala sits at the very top of that system. One single night where fashion, entertainment, and media power players all come together and reinforce each other's influence. It's a loop of relevance.
Okay, y'all, so I just got this in the mail from my friend Megan. I debauched it. She's like so classy, and I'm just like, look at this. This is nuts. Anyway, the chocolate was beautiful, and it was delicious. I don't like chocolate. Candles. Ginger cashmere. I couldn't pronounce the other word. This one is amber, water lily, and another word I can't pronounce, but it looks good. I love candles. Thank you. I love you.
That was almost the most damning indictment of as if you could ever get.
And right now, Meghan is outside that loop, at least for this moment, which brings everything back to that Chicago appearance. On its own, it's simple. A private event, a personal connection, a quiet setting that leans into normal life instead of spectacle. And there's something clearly intentional about that contrast. While one world is built on glamour, cameras, and over-the-top fashion, the other leans into simplicity and grounded presence. While one side chases attention, the other appears to step away from it. It's a strong visual contrast, but it also opens up a bigger question. Is this a deliberate rebrand or a repositioning shaped by circumstances outside her control? Because choosing distance from elite spaces is one thing. Not having access to them is something else entirely, and without clear answers, everything turns into interpretation, shaped by perception as much as reality. Critics argue this is simply what happens over time when relationships shift, alliances weaken, and professional connections become less active. In that view, doors don't slam shut. They just stop opening as easily as they once did. Supporters see something different. They believe Meghan is intentionally building a separate path, one that doesn't rely on traditional gatekeepers or approval from institutions like the Met Gala. Both views exist, and both reflect how complicated her position has become. Because Meghan Markle no longer fits into one simple category. She's not just an actress, not just a duchess, not just a media personality. She's all of those things at once, and that mix creates both opportunity and tension. In a world that loves simple labels, she remains undefined. And that makes her harder to place inside structured environments like the Met Gala, where every guest usually represents a very specific role within a carefully curated cultural story.
Apparently, the queen of fashion, Anna Wintour, of course, the great icon of magazine publishing, Vogue, you name it, right? She's the woman that Meryl Streep is based on in The Devil Wears Prada. She controls everything, and she has said no to Meghan.
So maybe the clearest way to understand her absence isn't as rejection, but as misalignment. Two paths that once felt closer now, moving in different directions, at least for now. Because cultural positioning is never fixed. It shifts constantly. Someone outside the room today can be the center of attention tomorrow. The same systems that exclude can also include, again, under different conditions. But those changes don't happen randomly. They happen through timing, relationships, and strategy. And right now, that timing simply doesn't line up. The Met Gala 2026 didn't just show who was inside the room, it also highlighted who wasn't there and what that absence might suggest about influence at the highest level of culture and entertainment. Not as a final verdict, not as a conclusion, just as a moment in an ongoing story. Because if one thing is clear, it's this. Meghan Markle is still very much part of the conversation, just not part of that room at the moment. And in a world obsessed with access, that difference says a lot. And if you've watched this far, the real question becomes simple. Do you think this is just coincidence, or is there something bigger shaping all of this behind the scenes with Meghan Markle and the Met Gala?